Welcome back to Ebony Ladies of the DR. I'm your host today, Tammy. Meet my co-hosts, Bridget,
Sheila,
Shanna. And today we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in again. We drop episodes every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please like, subscribe, and share with all of your friends, especially today's episode, because today we're going to be talking about something very important that's really been on my heart. And that topic is racism and colorism in the Dominican Republic. So what I'm hoping for today for this show is that we can dispel some myths. We can get the truth out so that people really understand what it's like to live here in the Dominican Republic. And so I just want to start the conversation off by asking you ladies, when you came here, I think we've all kind of mentioned that in some way, shape, or form, we've heard that this was a very racist place. What did you hear before moving here?
At the time, at the time that I was coming for a year in 2015, it was the whole they don't like black people,
right?
And they were specifically, I think, talking about the Haitians, you know, because Haitians tend to be a darker skinned people. Not that all Haitians are dark skinned, but that was the general thought, was like they don't like dark skinned people, or they don't like black people. And so everybody, as I was preparing myself to come here, was like, Shanna, you want to go to that place where they're not gonna like you there, you know, they're not gonna like you there. I had been here, you know, not some of these people not knowing I had visited 3 or 4 times already myself, right? So I had my own experience. I wasn't just going for the first time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my personal experience, was just hearing a lot of that just initially during the packing process, and having already made up my mind to be moving.
Right.
Hearing all of those negative things was just, you know, as you can imagine, not great.
My experiences before I got here, same thing. People were saying that they didn't like black people, but they were referring to like black Americans specifically.
Really?
Yeah, and that's what I heard. And so I'm like, you know, who said that? Why did they say that? So I'm Googling, I'm on the internet, I'm trying to find out everything I could possibly find, because you don't want to move to a country where, you know, you think people, because you're already leaving the U.S. where as a black American you're not treated the best. So, you know, so to hear that, I was like, I don't really want to be in a small environment, a smaller country, and feel that type of racism. So once I got here, and you know, when I visited here, I never had that feeling, never. And so now that I'm here, and I've been here 10 months, I talk to everybody, and so I have not experienced that. And so a couple of girls that speak fluent English, they're Dominican, and I asked them, you know, do y'all not like black people? Have you ever even heard that? She was like, no, you know. And I'm like asking the people at the resort, they're like, no, we love when black people come, because we always have so much fun, you know, because there's like they always having a good time, they include us in the fun, they're talkative, you know, as black people. It was like you talk to everybody. So I haven't experienced that, and that's not to say that there's not any racism here, or you know what I mean, but it's not the way that people think it is. Is, you know what I mean? It's not blatant like world, in the U.S. It's not a blatant racism here. I haven't experienced any of it.
What about you?
I'm going to get rid of that.
Oh, sorry.
The thing, well, when I was thinking about coming down to the Dominican Republic, is when a lot of the stuff was in the news about, well, not necessarily in the news, the major U.S. news, but online and stuff, about how they were rounding up Haitians and sending them back, and then they changed the Constitution so that, because originally it was, if you were born in the Dominican Republic, you were automatically a citizen, but then you had, anyway, that could be a whole episode in itself. But that was during the time that I was coming down here, and it really hurt my heart to hear all of these stories. And they have videos on Facebook where Haitians were getting beat up because they were accused of stealing, and it reminded me a lot of how a lot of Mexicans and other immigrants are treated in the United States. And I say more so Mexicans because it's easier for them to walk across the border, just like Haitians can come across the border. But I haven't experienced any racism or observed it. And that's not to say that it's not here, because you know, as brown people, we all have generational
thinking when it comes to
that's in our heads. So and just like with the United States, you do have racist people here,
right?
But you also have people who
Yeah.
don't care. They just look at you as how you are.
Right.
And I've had a nice, great time down here with the people.
Absolutely. And I'll say, before I came here, definitely. I mean, well, for me, it was a little bit different because everybody started dying. So I had to deal with that more. But people did say, even before when I came on vacation, people were like, "You shouldn't go to the Dominican Republic. They don't like dark skinned people. They're going to give you a bad room and all this kind of stuff." And so I was very concerned. And even when I started dating my boyfriend, I still kind of had that belief system of like, "Oh, they treat the Haitians bad, all this stuff." So I actually sat down with my boyfriend and a bunch of his friends, and I said, "Okay, so what's the deal? Like, do you guys hate Haitians? And are you guys mistreating hate? Like, what's really the real?" And they honestly kind of laughed at me, and they were just like, first of all, no, that's not real. They're like, Haitians and Dominicans generally tend to love each other. It's a lot of that stuff gets played out in the media. They take one instance or one situation and they blow it up and make it bigger than it is. He said, do you hate Mexicans? And I said, no.
Right,
then I was like, why would you say that? And he was like, well, your president hates Mexicans. So you're saying because my president might say something negative about Haitians that means that we hate? He was like, so you have to think about it from that perspective. Like it's the same thing. And he was like, and we don't put Haitians in cages. And I'm like, and when he said that, it was like, wow, as Americans, sometimes we have this idea of like, oh, like we're on this high horse. And it's like, when we look at some of our international policies, it's worse than some of the other countries out here.
It is.
And so for Americans to look and say, well, I'm not going to go there, because I've seen so many videos of people like, black people should not go to the Dominican Republic.
Boycott the Dominican
Republic. Boycott the Dominican Republic.
Right.
And it's ridiculous because you're holding people to an unrealistic standard. Like, how can you expect people to live up to something that's not actually true?
Especially in comparison to what's going on in the United States.
Exactly.
And then a lot, what bothers me about that is that those people are kind of riding the bandwagon.
Yeah.
So a lot of those people that are saying those sorts of things, like I'm boycotting the DR, those are people who've
never been
here.
Never
I mean,
been.
not that all of them are like that. Some of them have been here, but a large number of them have never been here.
Yeah.
We're sitting here in the DR right now. We're here in Punta Cana. We've lived here. Some of us 4 years, some of us a year, some of us 2 or 3 months, but we've all been here, lived here, and we are going through this on a daily basis. We're we're living this. So it really bothers me when I see the post about the DR. Not only that, but I have friends that are Haitians. I have and then we're all ladies. We're dark skinned. Some of us darker than others. We're here, but I have friends that are Haitians that I've talked to and actually had the conversation with, and some of them have told me that they prefer to be here than to be in their own country. They're grateful to be here. Not only are they grateful to be here, they've created and established lives for themselves. Like they've created a beautiful life for them. Some of them doing better than me.
So they're
working, buying homes, buying land, have businesses. I mean, good people.
They're not taking money out of the economy.
They're
putting money into the economy. And happy to be doing it. I think that's the main thing. Is like they're happy to be here, which says to me, okay, there's something about the DR that they like that is pleasing to them. That makes them want to.
Why would you try to be here if you didn't
like
it?
Right. Okay.
And I want to say something to one of the Facebook fans that commented on why we're here and we shouldn't be here, and they don't like black women. So we have a viewer, and I'm going to address that viewer because apparently she's never been to the DR. But she had friends who stayed at one of the resorts, and the majority of the workers that her friend saw were dark-skinned. All of the light-skinned workers were behind the desk, in the AC, so things like that. So I really hate that is what her friend brought back to her.
Right.
And that's what she feels the need to share on Facebook, because that's not the case. And we live in a gated community on a golf course. The majority of the gardeners and landscapers around me are light-skinned Dominicans. At my gym, they are, I'm talking jet black, gorgeous black men trainers, in the resort gym, in AC all day. So you can't say the whole racism, they put the Haitians outside to do the hard landscaping work, and the light-skinned Dominicans are inside at the resort.
Yeah.
Absolutely not the case.
Not
So
the case.
I welcome you to visit the Dominican Republic and look me up. I will take you on a tour.
Yeah.
I'm
And
glad
I will
you
say
said
something
that, Bridget,
too.
because
Yes.
I noticed that people like what you just said. There are people that have said stuff like that to me as well. But like with anywhere you go in this world, it all depends on what your skill set is.
Right.
I was just
I
gonna say
have
that.
been
Yes.
I have been to resorts here where the front desk people are like Jesse Jackson said, rainbow of
Yeah.
people. Haitians
Come in a
tend to
rainbow.
speak multiple languages,
Yeah.
so they're fluent in French,
Yes.
Creole,
Spanish,
Spanish,
German,
English.
Yes.
Right.
So they're smarter
Russian.
than a lot of us.
So those are the people
you know.
that you see behind the front desk, even working
Yeah.
the animation crews. Those
Yeah.
are the
Right.
entertainment people.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, like I said, then that could be a whole
Yeah.
nother story.
No, 'cause
But
it
a
is.
whole nother
I was gonna
story.
bring that up
But the
as
thing
a
is that
question.
just
Yeah.
like with Mexico,
Yeah.
and Mexicans and people in the U.S. 'Cause
Yeah.
you know, so the rate, the education rate of U.S. citizens going past
High school level.
thank you, is dropping. So you can't expect to have a high school education
And
and be
maybe-
the vice president
Right.
of
And
some company.
I think we should just say the disclaimer, because this is our opinion.
Yes,
You know,
right.
everybody is
Everybody's
entitled to
living
their
here.
opinion.
Absolutely.
But this is our opinion, like I said, on the ground floor, living here. But everyone's entitled to their opinion. We will not, that's how you feel about something. It's not our job to change how anyone
Right.
feels.
Right.
We
Right.
can
Just
only
how they
express
feel. Our
ourselves and our
observations.
observations.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Good
And I was
point,
going to
Shannon.
mention that because actually having conversations with some Dominicans and Haitians, that's one of the things that they brought up. That a lot of times what we associate as racism is just socioeconomic status. Okay? So if someone only has the skill set to be a housekeeper because they didn't because they weren't educated,
Right.
and they can't speak multiple languages, so they can't be at the front desk to welcome people from all over the world, then it is going to seem like, oh, well, they put this person there because they're dark. And so I think a lot of times, like for instance, I had someone before I came who mentioned to me, like, oh, well, when I went to the Dominican Republic, and we went in to get our room, they gave us a bad room, like on a bad part of the resort, and we had to go back and we had to fight to get a better room. But what the person was trying to say was basically that they did it because they were dark skinned.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they didn't want to put us in a good room. And I'm like, it could have just been that was the room that came up in the computer.
Oh, yeah.
But because
Right.
you're looking for that,
something.
you're just waiting for somebody to discriminate against you.
Yes.
As soon as you see that, you associate that that's what it is. And so the same thing, and here's the thing, like, let's keep it real. Colorism, right? So
Right.
we are different colors. Different colors mean different things. I've mentioned on previous episodes where I've gone to like the hair salon and they start speaking French to me because they think I'm Haitian, and I'm like, oh no, English,
Right.
and then they're like, oh wow, like you speak English.
Right.
I thought you were Haitian. That's not racism.
Yeah, that's not
That's
racist.
and it wasn't.
That's just an assumption.
It's just an
That's
assumption
it.
because
That's
you
it.
look that way. And so, one other story too. My boyfriend and I went on a trip to visit his family down in an area called Barahona, which is down near Haiti. And on the way coming back, we had no trouble going, but on the way coming back to get on the bus, the guy asked for my passport. And I'm an American, so I'm used to showing my passport everywhere I go. Well, my boyfriend got very upset that they asked us to see our passports. And the guy said to him, well, you have dark skin. I have to.
Wow.
And so he was pissed because my boyfriend, he's Dominican, and he's been going through this his whole life. But it's the belief that because your skin is darker, you're Haitian. So the bus driver, and so I had to explain to my boyfriend, I was like, why are you getting mad at this?
Well,
the guy's
this is
just
what
doing
they
his
do.
job.
Yeah. And
He
that's what
can't
they
let
do.
he can't let illegal immigrants onto the bus. This is an area that's very close to the other side.
Right.
We look
Close
like
to
we
the
should be
border.
on the other side, of course. And so every time we had a security checkpoint going back to Punta Cana, they would get on the bus, and it was so funny. It got to the point where I told my boyfriend, I'm like, just hold it up your passport, because they
Just
didn't
be
card
ready for
anybody else, but they carded us. And
And to that point,
Yeah.
I think that any American person, any Black American person, would take offense at that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think that because this is not America, we're not in America, guys. So we kind
Right.
of have to leave that.
That
Thinking.
mentality.
That thinking is American thinking. You're
Yeah.
not in America here.
Yeah.
So we have to realize that this is a totally different place.
Yeah.
This is not a place that we were born in, that we just innately learned the culture. Like we
Right.
weren't surrounded by it, so
Right.
we don't know these things until we experience them. But if you know that this is not your culture, you just have to kind of have that mentality like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe I shouldn't overreact, and just realize that this is a different place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
and these people, and for like in that case, like the security guards and the bus driver, like literally they're just doing their
Doing their
job.
jobs.
They're doing their job,
Doing
and their
their
job is to
job.
make sure that no illegal immigrants come to the country. Anybody who comes in has to have paperwork documentation.
And
And
why-
then it should make us sensitive. I'm sorry, Shannon. I would think that would also make us sensitive to the plight of other
Of
people.
Mexican, exactly.
Mexicans
That's
in the
how I
United
feel.
States, and
Yeah.
you know,
Indians.
and I understand
Middle Eastern culture.
with the languages
Mm-hmm.
and everything. I still don't think that somebody should say to a person, "You're in this country, you need to learn how to speak English," and stuff like that. Some people, it all depends on, like, I think ages, because everybody knows children learn languages, can
Very
learn much
fast.
right faster. But if you come, we have so many communities in the U.S. where you have little China, little Italy,
Yep.
little this, that if you have an older person that's coming
Yep.
over to the United States, somebody's bringing their mother, their grandmother or grandfather, and I think we should be more understanding with them not knowing a
Yes.
lot of English.
Yep.
And then on top of that, we know from needing to practice Spanish with
Yeah.
Spanish speakers
Yep.
Right.
that if you're in a community where it's mostly Latinos or whatever the case may be, that you don't have the opportunity to get out. They're probably not going out to work every day. So
Yeah.
I just find it, I just
Yeah.
have a lot, I've never thought that way that they should learn to speak English. I think it would be helpful, but I understand, me being on the other side of
Yeah,
that coin
you have
now,
a lot more
it's
empathy for people.
yes, yes,
Yep.
because it's difficult when you're someplace
Absolutely.
and people are talking around you and you don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish
Yeah.
people would be, you know, and I'm not making it seem like I didn't learn. I learned a lesson in being here too, because I could see how someone could take offense to certain things that do happen. Like I could see how it could be, but then I have to take a step back and realize, listen, they're not. This place has embraced me and really embraced me. Like they love us here.
Yeah.
So why would I then think that they want to be offensive to me and racist toward, you know, like it just doesn't make sense. The way
Right.
that they treat me here. So I have to know that that's just a cultural thing here.
yeah.
It's just a nuance. It's a cultural nuance here.
Yeah.
So I wish more people could just kind of take off the whole racism
Yeah.
jacket. I mean,
Yep.
we all know racism exists,
Right.
okay?
Right.
But when you're dealing with another country, just take off that jacket, have an open mind, and realize that it might not be as you're thinking it is.
Yeah, it
Right.
might be something
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
And so another sort of myth or thing that I wanted to address that I would like for people to kind of stop doing, even though, like you said, we can't change anybody. But one of the other things that I got a lot before moving over here was, does your boyfriend know that he's Black? I hate that question. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Right.
This mentality or this idea that Dominicans don't know that they're Black or they don't believe that they're Black. And so what I want to say is this, guys. I'm just going to address that, and then you guys can address it, okay?
Yeah.
There is a difference between race and culture.
Right.
And oftentimes when people say Black, you're putting something on them that they don't even
Put on themselves.
associate
because
with.
they don't do
They
that
have
here.
national identity, which is
Yeah,
I am
I'm
Dominican.
So that would
They
be
are
the same
Dominican.
as somebody
That's it.
saying that I'm not American because I'm Black.
Black.
That's the stupidest thing in the world.
Right.
And I don't think people really see it
They
that
don't.
way.
They don't.
And so
Yeah, here they
there's this
don't.
thing of, oh, well, if you ask them, are they Black or are they Dominican? Of course, they're going to say, I'm Dominican.
Dominican.
Because they
because
are
they're
Dominican.
all
We're
shaped.
so
And they
used to
have a
saying, I'm
different
Black.
culture.
Separating the
Exactly.
Black.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you're putting your American mentality onto
On them.
somebody else.
You can't do that.
My boyfriend, for instance, I keep bringing him up, but
That's
you know,
okay.
I talk to him about everything. his mom is half Jamaican, half Haitian, and his dad is Dominican, you know? And he literally says it like that. And it's not because he's trying to say he's not black. It's because he likes to embrace all of his cultures. He's like, yeah, I got some Jamaican in me. I got Haitian in me. I'm Dominican. And he's like, and our kids are going to have some American. Like, you know, and so they think about things culturally, not racially. And so I asked them and his friends, I was like, do y'all have a problem being called black? And they're like, of course we're black. What do you mean? Like, that's dumb. Why would you even ask that? So... yeah, that's all I want to say on that.
You'll see couples together, you know, one very dark lady that goes to my gym and her husband's a really light skinned. So as an American, you would be like, that's a black lady with a white man. They're both Dominican. But you know what I mean? They just identify as a Dominican because there are so many shades. So they don't say, oh, I'm a white Dominican, I'm a Caucasian Dominican. It's just Dominican. And I actually have one of my, and I wish I would have brought it, but my residency form on it has Dominican, Canadian, British, and UK, Saudi, Russian. So it doesn't say Caucasian, African American like it does in the U.S.
Right.
You know, in the U.S. it says Caucasian, black, non-Latin. It has all these craziness. But
well, it
here,
does have Latino, black, Latino, white. So that's why I've my experience has been.
But that's not here.
A little different.
Right.
Well, first of all, Dominican. When you talk about Dominican. American, or those are all your nationalities. Your race is something separate. And my experience has been here and in the United States, all Dominicans do not think that they are of African descent. Although we know, true that, and they very well may not be. But if you want someone that is my complexion or darker, and they say that they are not of African descent,
because they don't use black and white. That's not how they grow up it's taught. They just say Dominican.
I have a friend that's of Korean descent. He was born in Korea, and he brought up this on Facebook where people often use their nationality as opposed to their race, because people would always ask him, you know, well, what are you? And he's like, I'm American. And then they'd be like, no, what are you? So it all, I guess it all depends on your personal outlook on how things are. And I do notice that just like Puerto Ricans, they always like, you know, I'm Puerto Rican as opposed to you both. That's a whole other thing.
That's different. Say to somebody, you have to claim something like that's it's an entire culture. Like even like I tell my boyfriend all the time, and we're the same complexion. I'm like, you ain't black because, and it's joking when I say that. And what I mean is that like cultural. Yes, he looks like a black man, right? But culturally, he thinks like a Latino man.
Yeah.
You know, the way in which he shows up and interacts in the world is like a Latino man. You know. And so it's different, you know? And so when people start to put their ideals on what you should be or what you should claim as, a lot of times it's a lot deeper than what you think. So that's what the main point I wanted to make with that. So ladies, any last words before we
I do. I actually had a story that I had to share, because this is when we first got here. Me and Davlin and our dog Bella. So we're on the beach. And the security guard was like, no, you know, and just like, I'm like, why is it always black people that want to give other black people a hard time? I mean, I was through the roof. We had just got here. We had been here like not even a week, I think. And it was my, you know, U.S. mentality. I'm like, black people, we always seem to treat each other the worst, you know, and I was just going off. And he was just like pointing to his wrist. I'm like, I know I'm black. You know, I was going off. But this was before I knew the whole wristband thing, because we were on a resort. So I was like, he just treated us bad. I was like, you know, I was just like furious. But then now I realized it was the whole, you know, if you on a resort area with a dog in a resort area, you can't be there. But you know, the first thing my mind goes back to the U.S. way of thinking that it was racism. Then, 'cause I was like, did you say it? Did you see it? Those two girls over there? they not black, but you didn't say a word to them, and they had on wristbands.
Yeah.
You know, so you go back and you think you were like, oh, I just went out for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
so
we
you
have
have
to
to
check
leave
ourselves.
that right.
Yeah.
You
Check
have to leave that at
ourselves.
home and realize not everybody wants to, or not necessarily
Yeah.
want to. They just didn't grow up identifying themselves as being black or white.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't
Exactly.
bother me if a
Exactly.
black Dominican, or someone that I would say a black Dominican because their skin is dark like mine,
Yeah.
doesn't identify as black, just identify as Dominican.
Dominican,
And I
yeah.
appreciate that. If they would raise kids like that in the U.S., we wouldn't have the issues we have.
Exactly. We all
and
said
I'm
we're
gonna put
American.
that out there. You
Yes,
would not
'cause-
have so much racism in America.
By the way, that's how they see us.
Yeah.
That's how they see us. They don't see any difference between a black American and a white American. They're like,
They just
y'all
say, "You're
Americans
American."
and y'all crazy.
That's it.
Gringos.
And y'all raised
Yeah,
Gringos.
yeah. I actually had to tell my boyfriend to
That's it.
stop calling me a gringa. You know, because
Yeah.
I was like, don't call me that. And because I was like, I know what that means, and he was like, no, it just means you're an American. You know,
Yeah,
and
that's it.
Yeah, gringo is not necessarily a
negative
derogatory
term.
word.
I still
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
Well, you don't like it because we've made it
Uh,
where we
yeah.
don't like it. But
Right.
yeah, there was
I
something I
agree.
was gonna say, but
Well, not here. Gringa and gringo here is not a derogatory term, but it does actually come from something not nice.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I think that we as black people, I think American
sensitive.
black people are sensitive to
Yeah.
it. The people denying black,
Right.
Just
Yeah.
denying black.
Yeah.
So I think that if, like, what if one of us as a black American, what if we said, "I'm not black, I'm American"?
Yeah.
You know, how would they
Then
feel?
that's it.
Even
Right.
that
Oh
would-
yeah, we're ready to fight that.
That would
Was
be
it-
right. That
We're
would
ready
be
to
a
fight
problem
somebody
too.
with black.
So I
Right.
think they don't like the fact that the Dominicans are saying we're not black.
We're
You know,
Dominican.
'cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
they're
just
Dominican.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
I just
I
thought
get
about
it.
that. Yeah,
It's a different
That's
culture.
it.
Stop trying to
So-
put your culture on others.
right.
So with that said, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that this conversation sparks some interest for you. We hope that you'll do some further research, and more than anything else, we hope that you'll come to the Dominican Republic and
Right.
see it for yourself. And
That's
so
it.
I just want to say, as you walk through this world, you have to experience life. You can't go by myths. You can't go by hearsay. You have to get in and experience things for yourself, and don't always look for what's wrong in a situation, because you attract to you what you are. So if you're looking to see evil, you will see evil, but if you
Every
look for the
time.
good in the world, you will see good. And with that, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye.